Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspurs 2. Guys, I'm back. Firstly, it's been a while since I've been back in the UVHQ for a match view and for a fan view. My last game was actually Real Betis, and a lot has happened since then, including the performance today, which for me, that second half was just an abysmal performance. During the match view, I was actually saying it in the first half. Before we kind of even got that comfortable 2-0 lead, I did say that, I was worried about Tottenham's wing-backs who were literally hugging the touchlines, which as a result, Kane, Son and Richarlison were tucking in a lot more. As a result, our backline were tucking in a lot more. Wan-Bissaka, Dalot and the wing-backs just had so much space to operate. And you saw those switches coming quite often, Romero to Perisic and Lenglet to Porro, and we saw that quite a few times. And the second goal was actually something quite similar. We conceded a goal that equalised our Harry Kane assist to Son because our backline just fell asleep. They tucked in so much. Dalot completely lost his man. But I'm going to talk about the positives to start with. I think Bruno Fernandes just showing what a leader and what a captain he is. There was doubts about his participation in today's game following the weekend, and he persevered through his injury. I don't know what happened behind closed doors. We don't know what happened. We might never know. But what we do know is that he played today, and he played a full 90 minutes after people were worried that he might not play. That picture that went viral from his wife's social media of him with his leg up, ice on it, some crutches, a boot, etc. And he got an assist. For me, the big difference maker was that chance that he missed. He skipped past two defenders and just smashed it onto the crossbar, where it looked like he was trying to chip it over the keeper. And that was for me a big game changer. If we slotted those chances that we had in the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second half, it would have been a completely different story. I'm very happy for Jadon Sancho, really hoping that he picks up that form and that confidence. I was saying when he had the ball in that particular moment, cut in right foot shoot, I didn't think he was going to do it, because there's so many times this season where we've seen him not do that, and we've seen him, overthink it and dribble too much, run into the defender, whatnot. But instead, he went for that, and you could see how happy he was with the goal. Ten Hag and the players were happy for him too. And even Marcus Rashford, it took him 3 chances. On his third chance did he manage to find the back of the net. But one positive that we can take from it is his confidence to start shooting with his left foot. He scored with his left foot today. That's 29 goals in all competitions this season. But he had a chance just before that with his left foot. Instead of, cutting and taking it on his right foot, he just trusted his left foot. And that's what we want. We want a player to be able to use both feet at all times and just be confident enough to do that. And I can't lie, bar the goal and the assist that he had in the first half, second half, I'm going to talk about it because I feel like everybody was just poor. I'm not just going to say Marcus Rashford was bad in the second half, but I think everybody that played that second half after the 70th minute was just bad. Credit goes to Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw as they continue to try build this partnership in the back line. Luke Shaw spends a lot of time upfield when we have the ball in transition, trying to build out through the back, what Martinez used to be quite useful with. And it's nice to see him be able to do that, because we know how good he is in possession. Aaron Wan-Bissaka defensively is so solid. We talk about what he lacks going forward, but we need to praise him for his defensive stuff. I saw someone calling him Wham Bam as a nickname. I might start calling him that, or like KG calls him Basaks when he's defending, because he's just 1v1. He's one of the best defenders when a player's coming at him, and you saw it today. Richarlison was getting frustrated, and I definitely do feel like if he was still on for that second goal that Spurs managed to score, I just don't think that Son would have got that opportunity, because Dalot just completely fell asleep. Everybody talks about Erik ten Hag and his substitutions. Today he made 2 substitutions quite early, which I think kind of changed the performance in the second half. He brought on Martial and took off Sancho. He took off Eriksen and he brought on Fred. Eriksen was I'm trying to find the word. He was keeping the ball ticking. He was keeping the ball moving. He had the chance that he played Rashford through. He didn't even have to take a long glance to find him. He just looked over his shoulder and played that that pass first time over to him, where Rashford struck it with his left foot and the keeper saved it. He just kept that ball ticking. Obviously, Eriksen, what he lacks in defensive duty, sometimes you can see that what he lacks in physicality. Sometimes you can see that the first goal that Spurs did score was just it was a clearance from Luke Shaw, who put his body on the line to get that ball out, and I feel like Eriksen was just not quick enough. He wasn't quick enough to the second ball, and that seems to be the story sometimes in these poor results that we have, these last minute capitulations where we drop points or we lose a game. We're just not good enough when it comes to getting to the second balls, and we allow the opposition to set the tempo of the game, which is not acceptable. If we want to be one of the best teams in the league, if we want to be the best team eventually in the league, we cannot let the opposition feel like they have a chance. And Tottenham felt like they had a chance throughout the entire game, even when we were 2-0 up in the second half. I wanted 3, I wanted 4, I wanted 5, but in the second half it just felt like we were not able to create anything clear cut, anything tangible, really, bar that Bruno Fernandes chance where he whacked it onto the crossbar. But I do feel like once those subs came in the 60th minute, when Martial came on and Fred came on, I think that completely changed the game. We were calling for Fred to come on. I was calling for Fred to come on because I felt like in the midfield you need that tenacity, you need that runner. But when Casemiro is not really got his head in the game, word to High School Musical, if anybody knows that joke, then please comment below. But Casemiro, he needed to get his head in the game, and it just wasn't there. As a result, Fred was being Fred, and sometimes, he didn't have his partner to cover for him. And we just saw it time and time again in the second half. We were useless. We were careless with the ball in the middle of the pitch, and we were allowing Spurs to set the tempo, pick up the ball, kind of be able to get passes around to kind of build up confidently. And you can't let a team do that. Not a team that just lost on the weekend to a top 4 team. You just cannot allow them to pick up momentum, especially when we know the issues that's going on with their club at the moment. You kick a man when they're down. That's what we're supposed to do. We're meant to be clinical. 2-0 up at halftime. This is the second game that we have now choked a 2-0 lead, and it's frustrating. It's disappointing. It's frustrating and it's disappointing. You even look at the goals where they're coming from this season overall. Marcus Rashford, 29 goals, all competitions. The second top goal scorer is Bruno Fernandes, 10 goals. Then we've got I think Martial has 7 goals. Anthony's got 6. Fred has a few goals. We really need people to pick that up. When we can't rely on one man to score all the goals for us. We need contributions from everyone. 2 players being in double digits for goals is just not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. Albeit Marcus Rashford is having a phenomenal season. And by the way, this is not me criticizing Marcus Rashford in any way. It's more so everybody else needs to pick up the slack. I do feel like once Erik ten Hag made those substitutions, it completely kind of threw the ball in their court. And sometimes he gets them substitutions wrong, especially when we're away. So far, in terms of London teams that we've played away, we've only beaten Fulham. We drew at Palace to a last-minute equaliser. We drew today to Spurs. We drew to Chelsea. We lost to Arsenal. We lost to Brentford. So maybe there's something in the water here in London where Manchester United cannot get 3 points consistently across the London teams. But in terms of today's performance, I don't want to dwell on it too much. There's some positives you can take away from it. You were seeing that build-up play, the Ten Hag way, the Ten Hag football that we like to call it, the triangles that the players create when they're passing around. We were able to see that, especially in the first half. I was quite happy with the first half performance, but the second half performance was just not good enough. We were sloppy in defence, we were sloppy in the midfield, and we were sloppy going forward. We were just not creating anything. We were not being reliable with the ball. We were not being responsible with the ball. And I feel like when Bruno Fernandes got shifted to the right-hand side, it kind of took him out of the game. He was perfect in the 10. He was having a good performance. He was keeping the ball going, creating opportunities, passing through the lines, trying to find the man, trying to find Rashford, trying to find Sancho. And I just feel like when he went to the right, it kind of ruined the whole game. Fred came on, like I said, it was a poor performance from him. One of the worst performances I've seen as a Manchester United sub this season, if I'm being very honest. And when you compare it to his performance against Spurs at Old Trafford at the beginning of the year, it's 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. But we have to bounce back. We just have to keep our head up and keep going. We still got 2 games in hand, so we will hopefully be able to extend that point difference between Spurs. But we got Spurs breathing down our neck. They're not that far behind. I think it's about 6 or 7 points. Liverpool looking for that top 4 spot. Newcastle got a confident win today, and we've still got some difficult fixtures, I would say, coming up. We've got Aston Villa on the weekend, who are picking up form. We've got Brighton, who are, coming back off a loss actually midweek, and also the loss against us in the FA Cup. Later on, towards the end of the season, we've still got home fixtures where we have to pick up 4 points, because we know what our away record is like. But hopefully we'll be able to that top 4 is what we're playing for right now, and it's so important for us to just dig deep. That's all we have to do. Is the back end of the season. A game like today, I wanted us to dig deep, and the players just couldn't. So hopefully they can do that for the rest of the season. My man of the match, to be honest, I don't really have one, because that second half was just a poor performance from the team. But I will give it to Bruno Fernandes for his assist and just the completeness that he provides when he's on the pitch. Credit to Marcus Rashford, who got a goal and assist today. Congratulations to Sancho, who got a goal and is looking a bit more confident. But hopefully we can continue that, and just one 90-minute game of consistent football. That's all I ask Manchester United, just one game.